I'm going to talk about STP strategy. So why we need to understand STP strategy in this session? Because of the fact that marketers cannot serve to the diverse, large and broad market. They want to serve specifically to the small chosen segment of market, rather serving the entire market, so that they can able to strategize their marketing mix according to the chosen specific segment. For that reason, they go for employing this STP strategy. I already mentioned that STP stands for segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Once as a marketer, they select a particular target market, they will try to understand the needs and wants of the consumers in that specific consumer market, and then they will try to target with the relevant marketing mix. We all know what are the marketing mix, like 4 P's in terms of product. That is product, price, place, and promotion. And when you talk about the service, you need an additional extended 3 marketing mix. One is process, people, and physical evidence. With all these elements of marketing mix, they try to appropriately strategize and try to reach out that chosen segment of market, so that marketer can effectively serve the market to bring out customer satisfaction, and that leads to a success of their marketing efforts. So actually in this session, what will you specifically learn? See, this session is designed in such a way that you will understand the concept of market segmentation, target marketing, and market positioning. Okay. And also in this session, we will be exploring the major basis for segmenting consumer market. So now let us understand what is segmentation, targeting, and positioning, and why marketers are going for market segmentation and targeting and positioning. Let us understand the significance of why marketers are going for market segmentations. When you look at the companies cannot connect with all the customers in large or broad or diverse market. So in order to identify a specific market segment, and they want to serve the market very effectively, so they make decisions like, why they want to make decisions, in the sense that they want to keen in understanding of consumer behavior in that particular specific segment. So as a marketer, they go for careful strategic thinking about what makes each segment unique and different. Accordingly, they can satisfy that particular segment with the right marketing mix. So I said marketing mix, you have to remember about the 4 P's in terms of product. That is product, price, place, and promotion. And in case of service product, you need to go for another 3 elements of extended marketing mix. That is people, place, product, and positioning. Process. Okay. So let us talk about. So hope you understand why marketer is going for segmentation. I will give you an example of LinkedIn professional network. You all know there are various social network, but their purpose are totally different. Their segmentation is totally different. When you consider about the social network called LinkedIn, it is meant only for professionals who want to make a career. So if you look at the business model of LinkedIn, it is clearly have their own segment of audience, the consumers. So the business model of LinkedIn is a freemium model where the core features are provided for free, but the company charges money for extended features to recruiters as well as the job seekers to aid job search. So they are very clear about their vision to create economic opportunity for every professional in the world. So this segment of LinkedIn social network is not for entertainment purpose. It is purely meant for building the career of the career aspirant professionals. Okay, so that's a way that LinkedIn social network has been segmenting their market, and really they are focusing and have their individualized marketing strategy applied in that particular chosen specific market segment. So now let me give you let me explain the concept of segmentation. So market segmentation is all about dividing the market into a distinct groups, correct? And with the distinct needs of that consumer in that group, okay? And also they want to analyze those consumer will be having specific characteristics, and they also exhibit a kind of similar behavior. So all those consumers in that particular segment may exhibit a similar behavior. So the marketers are trying to focus on that particular market segment. So who might require, if you look at those consumer in that segment, they exclusively look for exclusive products, and they want a specific market mix which is going to cater and fulfill the requirements. Clear? So marketers will formulate marketing strategy to fulfill the requirement of that particular segment of consumers who has a distinct groups, and they have distinct needs and have a specific characteristics, and also they exhibit similar behavior. So let us talk about, I will try to give okay, let us take an example of Horlicks. See, Horlicks has come out with different flavors to cater to the different segment of audience who want a different taste flavors. For example, Horlicks come out with vanilla. It also come out with chocolate flavor, elachi flavor, etc. So similarly, when you look at Horlicks based on the age groups, Horlicks try to segment the audience like they have Horlicks 1, 2, 3 for kids, and Horlicks Junior for school children, and and also for mothers who need additional nutrition during their pregnancy, they have Mother Horlicks. And also there are customers segment who is very much calorie sensitive and health conscious. For them, Horlicks also come out with a brand called Horlicks Light. So with this great example, hope all of you will understand the concept of segmentation very well. And in the later later part of this session, we will also take one more example on Pepsi, how they have made segmentation possible. Okay. Let us also understand the another element of STP, that is target marketing. So what is actually target marketing? So we all know that a segment consists of a set of buyers with similar needs who share common needs or characteristics, so that the company decide to serve that particular segment. That we call it as target marketing. So basically here the company choose the specific segment which is very profitable and suits the requirement of the organization marketing strategy, and accordingly they will choose that specific segment, and they try to serve the segment very profitably. So as we have taken this Horlicks again as an example, it is trying to serve kids from 2 to 4, and juniors from 5 to 15, and adults, women, and aged people who are, as I said earlier, who are very much calorie conscious. So this company comes out with a very specific brand to suit the requirement of that particular segment, and they try to serve them. So that process we call it as target marketing. And the last element of STP is positioning. So let's talk about what is positioning. See, positioning is nothing but, the marketer with some kind of value proposition. They are trying to occupy a position in the minds of the consumer. The place of the product occupies in consumers' minds relative to competing product, typically defined by consumers on the basis of important attributes involving implanting the brand's unique benefit and differentiation in the customer's mind. And of course, during the process of doing marketing exercise, strategy development, the company, the organization will try to, analyze using positioning maps that plot the perception of brands as per the consumers, and they try to, take the stand in that particular segment. As per the requirement of the consumers in that segment, they try to offer the product which suits the value proposition required by that particular consumers in that segment. So I can quote two examples, like, those who need really a additional protein requirement, immediately it comes to my mind, I can go for Horlicks protein. And I will also quote one more example that definitely everyone has come across in your mind. So when I talk about sensitive teeth, immediately your mind will, my mind and everyone's mind may capture a product called a Sensodyne toothpaste. So that's the way they have positioned their products in the minds of the customer. And also there are many, in the 80s, there is a scooter called Bajaj Chetak. And Bajaj Chetak has positioned the product as value for money. That's a way, when you think about Bajaj Chetak scooter, they think about value for money. That's the way they occupy their position in the minds of the customers. And after, hope you all understand the elements, the segmentation, targeting, positioning concepts, hopefully very clearly. And let us move on to the steps in STP process. So what kind of activities we'll be carrying out in market segmentation. So first one is we as a marketer, they try to identify the basis for segmenting the market, and they try to based on the selection of that particular segment, they try to develop the segment profile. That what are the characteristics, what are the behavior of the consumers in that particular segment. They try to capture that. And once they understand the needs and wants of that segment, the characteristic behavior of that segment, then they try to target that particular segment and develop measures of segment attractiveness. It means that which unique value proposition offered by the company is going to attract that particular consumers in that segment. So this exercise the company will be doing. And next one, once they understand clearly about the requirement of the segment, they select the segment which is very profitable and which match up with the requirement of the organization. Yes, Then we move on to the fifth step. We call it as developing positioning for target segment. As I said earlier, with the value proposition, and the marketer is trying to occupy the position in the minds of the customer, like through the benefits offered, like in terms of Sensodyne teeth. For sensitive teeth, the cure from the Sensodyne paste is huge. So immediately when the people think about sensitive teeth, immediately they recollect the brand name called Sensodyne. So that's the way they try to develop through a lot of marketing, communication, advertisement, and promotion. They develop the positioning for the target segments. And also they try to find out the point of difference and the point of parity among the unique value proposition, and they try to offer and registered in the minds of the consumers. And the next one is the last step in the STP process, is that developing a marketing mix for each segment, isn't it? So if you understand the needs and wants of that particular consumers in that segment, what we need to do is that offering the right proportion of marketing mix. If I say marketing mix, let's talk about product, price, place, promotion. And if it is a service product, I was telling you about people, physical evidence, and process, that we call it as extended marketing mix. So as per the segment requirement, after proper analysis and formulation of strategy, we try to develop a marketing mix towards that specific segment. That may be the last step in the STP process. Hope you all clear about there are 6 steps in STP. One is identifying the basis for segmenting the market. And the next one is develop segment profile. This is a very important step in the process. And, as a marketer, they try to target the market through developing measures of segment attractiveness. And also they try to select target segments. And in terms of positioning the market, they try to develop positioning for target segments, and finally they develop a marketing mix for each segment. Okay, the next discussion for this session is that what are the major bases for segmenting consumer market? So these are the major bases for segmenting consumer market. I will highlight what are the major bases. One is the regions, size and density, climate in case of geographic segmentation. In case of demographic, you've got age, gender, family size, income, occupation, religion, ethnic group. And in case of psychographic, you've got social class, lifestyle, personality, and also in case of behavioral stuff, segmentation, you've got occasions, benefits, user status, usage rate, loyalty status, readiness states, and attitude towards the product. And I will try to pack with more examples to give you fundamental clarity on these elements. So let's talk about geographic segmentation. It was clearly given this geographic segmentation can be done using countries, cities, village, urban or rural, climate, population density, all these factors. So let us see how it is geographic segmentation is done. Geographic region like Pacific, West, North, Central, West, organizations, they try to segment the product based on Asia, Pacific, Australasia, like that, and also India, South Pacific, like that. They try to, segment the market based on the geographic region. And also, there are certain products which is meant only for metro, cities. Do you understand this? Like, in rural area, you cannot go for, KFC or, McDonald's, which have a family pack size, all that. So, only these products are only offered in metro, cities. The company marketer are trying to use this one of the variable called city or metro size in segmenting that particular market. Next one, based on the density of a particular region, they classify that into urban, suburban, and rural. And certainly, um, the products are only meant for certain products are only meant for rural areas. Like when you in case of like Colgate has come out with 5 rupees small pack size paste, which is not meant mostly for urban area, and it is mostly towards rural area based on the geographical segmentation. And also when you look at the climate, like in terms of raincoat or in case of dressings, you got different climatic condition will influence the apparel requirement of that particular region. So through this, I think through this example, hope you all understand the purpose of geographic segmentation. Next one is let's talk about the demographic segmentation. And in demographic segmentation, we use age, use gender, income, education, family life cycle, religion, socioeconomic status, all that. So in case of demographic age, you got different classifications as we have given here under 6 to 11, 12 to 17, and 18 to 34, and 35 to 49, 50 to 64, and 64 plus. See, so each age group will have a different product requirement. As I already given you an example of Horlicks, like Horlicks 1, 2, 3, it's between under 6, and Junior Horlicks between 12 to 17, like that. And also there is one more company called Eyeball mobile phone. The numbers will be very large in size, and it's always used by the senior citizens above 60 years. So see, the Eyeball company has come out, used demographic segmentation and focus on the senior citizen group. So, and also we have family size, like, as I told earlier, like, there are a lot of products which have family pack and a nuclear pack, like that. The packaging size is totally different between 1 to 2, 3 to 4, and 5 plus you have a family pack. And of course, Pepsi and Coca-Cola has come out with the large bottles. They try to serve the entire family. And also, if you look at the family life cycle, you got young single, young married, no children, young married, youngest child under 6, young married, youngest child 6 or older, older married with children, and older married, no children under 18, older single, and others. So in a life cycle of family life cycle, we have different segmentation segments are available. And definitely, the young adult, I mean the youth, may require different products. That we can take an example of, this KTM bikes is only, drove by the youth. And also when you look at the old people, they may go for, the age, I mean the middle-aged, in the married with 2 children. So all those people, they don't go for these kind of bikes. Rather, they go for Honda Activa, like that. They want kind of a scooter type of vehicles. And some who has the affordability, they may go for a small Maruti car called Alto, like that. So these are the examples I would like to highlight to make you understand about the demographic segmentation. And next one is the gender, male and female. I can quote an example of Fair and Lovely. 10 years before, there is no option. If men want to become fairer, they only apply Fair and Lovely. But in case of now what happened, they segmented through gender, and now the exclusive product for male has come, which is called Fair and Handsome. Those products are available. And also about on income. they can classify based on how much the income the consumers are getting. So based on that, they will offer the product. For example, there are many segments which offer premium segments in apparels and shootings and shirtings, like Ravens will go for the higher class of income, and also the segment of car, they also go for higher segment. The big cars are focused towards the higher income group. There are a lot of luxury car brands are available, like Mercedes and BMW. They try to focus on higher income groups. And also occupation, we have professionals, we have technical managers, officials, and proprietors, clerical staff, craftspeople, 4-person, operatives, farmers, retired students, homemakers, unemployed. There are different categories of occupation. Based on their occupation, we can try to offer, the marketer can try to, offer products as required by those occupation category. And also in case of education, there are school students, high school students, graduates, and also postgraduate and PhD students. Like that, education-wise, there are many, education facilitators, service provider, tuition centers. They try to focus on those segment based on education. And also religion. There are many, like Archie's card. They use to focus on religion: Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, and others. So they try to focus on those segments. And also when you talk about this race, we got white, black, Asian, Hispanic. In case of Malaysia, we have Chinese, we have Indian, we have Malay. So all these races has been focused with specific product and services which cater to their requirements. And also you have a generation, we have silent generation, baby boomers. Now we have Generation X, and we have Generation Y. It is so-called millennials, and they have many different requirements. And online service providers like Amazon and Flipkart is very much specifically focusing on those Generation Y to offer their service towards that particular segment. And also based on nationality, you have North American, Latin American, British, French, German, Italian, Chinese, Indian, Japanese. Each has their own requirement of product and services based on their beliefs, values, and culture requirements. And also we talk about social class. When you talk about social class, you got lower, upper, working class, middle class, upper class, lower, upper, and different class has different requirement of product and services. That's why marketers are trying to classify this demographic using social class as one of the variable, and they try to offer the product. So hope with this input, I hope you understand what are the variables used for demographic segmentation. Okay. Moving on to the psychographic segmentation, we have here lifestyle, we have personality traits, we have values and attitudes, and we have activities and interest and opinions and social status. We will go in detail with, I will take some examples on that. In psychographic segmentation, we have, the culture-oriented, sports-oriented, and outdoor-oriented lifestyle people are there, for which a lot of companies are giving additional, like resorts, and a lot of, cultural event sports companies are there, and sports event organizing company exhibitions are conducted for them in order to, lure those kind of segments. And a lot of outdoor activities has been organized for them. And this is something to do with the psychographic lifestyle. And also, when you talk about the personality, the brand has certain personality. Similarly, the individual who has a personality, try to associate his personality with the brand personality. And of course, we can, quote an example of rugged genes. I mean, rough and tough genes. And this personality, we call it as a rugged. Those people will go for only, cowboy jeans and Levi's. You got certain category. They go for those kind of, the apparels which match with their personality. And there are also behavioral occasions like festivals, regular occasions, birthday, marriage day, and there are many more special occasions. And this company is called Archies. They try to offer, cards, category specifically focusing on that particular occasions. And also we talk about benefits. We have qualities, services rendered to the consumer, service, economy, speed, and I will quote more examples, make you understand using an example from Colgate. So let's talk about this. So and also we talk about the next one is the user status, sometimes non-user, ex-user, potential user, first-time user, and regular user. We have, based on the usage level, consumers has been segmented, and usage rate also. Earlier they talk about the user status, and now they talk about the usage rate. A light user, medium user, and heavy user, especially the smoking persons, will be categorized under this usage rate. And also there is a loyalty status, none, medium, strong, and absolute. There is also there are certain people who are not brand switcher. They only go for that particular product. Then they are called loyalty, very strong on towards that particular brand and show favorable attitude towards the particular brand. And next one is the ready stage. We have unawareness, aware, informed, interested, desirous, intending to buy. There are, based on the readiness stage, you got different categories of segment, and also based on one more variable called attitude towards a particular product. The companies are trying to segment based on attitude, that is enthusiastic, positive, indifferent, negative, and hostile. That's towards a particular product or services. Next one, let's talk. I would like to quote the lifestyle segment in the Geo Mart. And nowadays, what happened? The millennials are always going for online purchase, and even now the millennials are going for grocery purchase only through Geo Mart. And there are many more companies from Amazon. They come out and sell grocery product through online. They are hesitant to waste time in going to those shops, to the physical stores. Next one is about the personality trait. I was quoting you example of rough and tough jeans, cowboy and Levi's jeans. Like self-discipline, extrovert, and openness. These categories of personality will go for ruggedness is one kind of personality. They go for these kind of genes I already mentioned. And in case of we have a VALS framework, which really talk about the values, attitude, and lifestyle. Back in 1980, we have Arnold Mitchell developed this framework, a technique for market research. They made a lot of survey questionnaire with many samples. This provided the springboard for psychographic segmentation. And in the US audience, they did this research. And VALS, which is also known as values, attitude, and lifestyle, is one of the primary ways to perform psychographic segmentation. All the three terms are intangible in nature and therefore give an idea of the inert nature of the consumer. So if you know what your consumer is thinking, probably you would know what kind of promotions or communication will attract him cost. So marketer is very much interested what the consumer think about it in terms of value, attitude, and lifestyle, and accordingly they formulate the product offering and do marketing communication towards that particular segment. So let's talk about this, VALS framework. You can see in the vertical axis, you got innovators and surveyors. Innovator on the other end have high resources and they have an high innovation mind, and surveyors have low resources and low innovation. And you got to think there are, there are different classifications as made based on the motivation. These are called ideals, achievement-oriented personalities, and self-expression personalities. Ideals are thinkers, achievers, and experiencers, and believers, strivers, maker. These categories make different kinds of purchase. They need a different kind of purchase requirement based on that value, attitude, and lifestyle requirements. So based on their high resources, high innovation, the thinkers, achievers, and experience go for a certain product category. And the surveyors very price conscious and they have low resources and they don't go for, and normally they are occupied with low innovation, and they are considered to be under the category of believers, strivers, and makers segmentation. And every year there is a lot of updation in the Strategic Business Insight website. You can Google it and get more information on the latest updates about the segmentation process done in US. Okay, next one is we also talk about AIO activities. So what is this AIO activities is all about is very clearly given that activities focus on someone's daily routine and hobbies. A person who rides their bicycle to work and plays sports on the weekends likely has different purchasing pattern than an employee who drives a car to work and watches a lot of movies. So these are the two different characteristics of consumers grouped into different segments. And for them, these two class of segments need to be offered with a different marketing strategy in terms of club membership, entertainment, choice, vacation, and social events can give marketers clue about consumer activities, and accordingly as a marketer they try to satisfy the requirement of these two different types of segment. And the AAO starts with certain activities. First one is AAO. We have activities, then we talk about interest, then we talk about opinions. So based on activities, we can group segments, and based on interest, we can a person interest reveal concepts and ideas that drive their passions. So marketer has to really look into get insight about the interest of the consumers. Accordingly, they can segment the market. A consumer may have varied interest. We all know that. And among your student segment, there are different kinds of students with different interests, such as people have different, interests like collecting a coin, maybe building some kind of art, craft work like model ship building. Some will have, like girls have a gardening, and some will have fishing, some will have driving cycling, all these are motorcycling, all these are trucking. So each one will have a different interest. So marketers has to really focus on what kind of interest as a consumer exhibit, and accordingly they have to offer the product and services which satisfy their interest. So by identifying the interest of the target consumers, companies can better identify how to appeal them. So the last component of AO is opinion. So everyone has opinion, and consumers are not same. They are not. Actually they are different. Marketers would like to know people's opinion about movies, public figures, politicians, actors, and television shows. Some people like cricket. Some people like football, and some people like action movies, some people like thriller movie, like that. The opinions, and they have different opinion on those product or services, and accordingly we need to really understand and get insight about their opinion. So marketing agency has to really work to know the consumer's opinion about a brand, what they think about the product, what they think about the store, what they think about the advertisement, what reaction they show towards the promotions, and whatever the marketing activities extended towards the consumer. The marketing agency is asked to give a lot of analytics so that the marketer can group segment, and they specifically formulate marketing strategy which works very profitably towards that particular segment. So basically here AIO, activities, interest, and opinions aims to create a psychographic profile of a consumer with the goal of targeting advertising to various type of people. See, the last base of segmentation is called behavioral segmentation. Marketers divide buyers into groups on the basis of the knowledge of, attitude towards, use of, or response to your product. So what is a behavioral segment? A segment has been segmented using behavioral variable. So marketers divide buyers into groups on the basis of their knowledge about the product or services, attitude towards the product or services, and the use of the product or services, and the response towards the product or services. That we collectively called as a behavioral segment. We go more in detail about what is behavioral segment. Start with, we have need-based or benefit-based segmentations. So based on the benefits, we try to segment the market. Based on the needs, we try to segment the market. Needs or benefits of the consumers, we try to segment the market and identify a distinct market segments with a clear marketing strategy and implication. So let's talk about the benefit from Colgate. So the benefit, as a consumer, they expect whitening of teeth, breath freshening, 12-hour protection, cavity protection, sensitivity relief, and enamel protection, and you have paste which should be very not so hard. It should be very mild for kids, and there are certain paste which is addressing the health of the gum. And also there are Ayurvedic products like natural extracts they may manufacture, and there are consumers who don't like the combination of chemicals in their paste. So based on the benefit, I think this example will give you clarity based on the need-based or benefit-based segment. Next one is, let's talk about decision roles. See, when you talk about decision roles, so the next aspect of behavioral segmentation is decision roles. So let's talk about the decision roles. You got, in a family, if you ask me who buys most of the product, and immediately, you cannot say mother or the family, other children's, or the, or the father of the family. It is very hard to predict. It depends upon the product as well. So we have decision roles. We have initiator, we have influencer, decider, buyer, and user. For example, my son may require certain soaps, but he is the initiator here, and he consults with his mother. So the mother gives good acknowledgement about that particular soap. For example, peers. So that she becomes the influencer, and they come and tell me, so I become the decider. And who is the buyer? Maybe my son go to the shop and buy that. And who is the ultimately user? definitely. Or his mother will go and buy that soap. So buyer become the mother of my son. I mean, my wife become the buyer here, and the user is my son. So marketers need to understand the decision roles happening within the family, and accordingly they have to formulate marketing strategy under behavioral segmentation. So under behavioral segmentation, we have certain behavioral variables, which is called occasions, user status, usage rate, buyer readiness stage, loyalty state, and attitude, and multiple base. So when you talk about behavioral variables, we got certain occasions. I was mentioning about there are certain occasions, festival like Christmas, or marriage is an occasion, and Valentine's Day is an occasion. And also when you talk about the user status, certain whether they are ready to use the product or not, they are using the product or not, like that. I already explained to you the user status, and the high, medium, and low, which is talk about the usage rate of the customer in case of smoking persons, heavy smoker, light smoker, medium smoker, like that. People try to classify the segments, I mean the consumers. And next one is the buyer readiness stage, whether they are ready to use the product, already they are using the product, like that. Buyer readiness stage also taken. And there are certain loyalty status, hardcore loyalty person. Whenever you offer any other brand, they only go for those, especially these coffee consuming senior citizens. They only go for a specific coffee brand. They never change the brand. So mostly senior citizens never change the brand. And if you look at the millennials, so they are not hardcore loyals, because of the fact that they just become the brand switches, and they go for any kind of products. And attitude, whether consumers show favorable attitude or unfavorable attitude, that the marketers has to really get insight about the attitude of the product. Next one is they talk about the attitude, and next one is the multiple bases. It means that if you combine all these variables together and form a segment, then it is called multiple bases. So hope we get a fundamental clarity on the behavioral segmentation variable. One is the decision rule and the behavioral variables. We saw many variables such as occasions, user status, usage rate, buyer readiness stage, loyalty status, attitude, and multiple bases. And this one the person who brings up the idea or identify the need is called an initiator. Influencer, the person who influences the outcome of the decision, become the influencer. And decider, the person who decides on any component of purchase, when, what, how, who, then he become the decider. I have given you an example. I demonstrated that through a buying of PS soap in my family. Okay, through that, hope I given you a clarity. And buyer, the person who actually makes the purchase. And next one is the user, the person who winds up using the product or services. They become the user. Next one is user and usage pattern. Definitely, the consumption pattern of the customer varies from one customer to the other. Based on the consumption pattern, we can segment the market, and the usage rate segmentation divides consumer according to how much they use a product. They are divided into groups of, as I already told you, non-user, light, medium, and heavy product users in case of smoking, cigarette consumers. And companies often seek to target one heavy user rather than several light users. Then it is profitable. And in case of user and usage pattern, we got sackets, or a clear indication of the customization that marketers are doing as per demand by the customer, especially with the semi-urban and rural areas. They want to build on adaptability, and the usage pattern also varies with those rural and semi-urban customers. So accordingly, they do a sacket packing to attract those segment of consumers also. And also, when you look at Pepsi and Coke being sold in large bottles as family pack in urban area, that to 2 to 3 liters. So that is a different kind of usage pattern, and user is different here. And also shampoos which are being sold in small packets so that people can carry them while traveling. So the each usage pattern also varies depending upon the situation. And Maggi being packed in increasing size, like 8 packs and 12 packs, because of increasing consumptions and usage by the customers. Clear? And also in Maggi you got also mild packets available. And let's talk about the concept of segmentation, targeting, positioning, to finally wrap up with a great example from Pepsi. And you can see this pictorial input that Pepsi not only offer carbonated drink, it also comes out with reduce the quantity of carbonated stuff, and they try to come out with Diet Pepsi, and Diet Pepsi also comes out with different flavors. So in order to cater to the different requirement of the customers, let's talk about the Pepsi company. So and I'm going to summarize the learning through all my inputs on this session with this demonstrative example using Pepsi. So let's talk about geographic, and here we talk about the region and density of the population. And we also segment domestic market or international market. In case of density, Pepsi tried to use a geographic variable, and they tried to categorize into urban and rural. If it is an urban area, they come out with 3 liters of pack size. And when you talk about rural area, they want many 200 ml bottles, which really caters to the affordability of the rural consumers. And in case of demographic, we have different age like 15 to 45 with different preferences. They drink on different occasions, and gender, male and female. And Pepsi also comes out with Miranda, and Pepsi also comes out with 7-Up. Females mostly they'll go for the Miranda orange type of drink from Pepsi, and males, of course, they go for Pepsi product, carbonated drink. And life cycle stage, we have different kinds of life cycle, like bachelor stage, young, single people, not living at home, newly married couples, and no children, full nest, 1 youngest child under 6, full nest, 2 youngest child 6 or over. These are the categorization of segmentation as Pepsi is trying to implement in segmenting their market. And also Pepsi use income as one of the variable and consider average, above average and high earners, and they try to market the product towards their requirement. And also they try to focus on using this variable called occupation. They try to focus on students, employees and professionals. And also finally Pepsi also use behavioral segmentations based on their degree of loyalty, hardcore loyals or softcore loyals, and benefits are refreshment, enjoying good taste, satisfaction of habit, spending time, and also when you talk about the personality, easygoing, determined, ambitious, and also user status. They also talk about the regular users, or very seldom they use the product like that. They will try to categorize. Pepsi use this kind of segmentation variable to target that segment which they are interested in. And also Pepsi comes up with psychographic segmentation. They use social class and lifestyle as their segmentation criteria, and they working class, middle class, and upper class under the segmentation criteria under social class. And PepsiCo target segment in lifestyle segmentation criteria, they use aspirer, succeeder, and explorer. Okay, so with this, I think we have given you enough input in making you understand the concept of STP strategy, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. In the oncoming sessions, we also will cover the basis of segmentation based on business requirement and also international segmentation. And also we will talk about how marketers target the segment in detail. And also we will also talk about the positioning strategy in detail. Hope with this two learning outcome, understanding the concept and basis of segmentation, I give you complete clarity for your understanding. And thank you so much for patiently listening my video input. Good day. Thank you.